The Tekken 8 story DLC is almost here, so it's about that time for me to give you my final predictions before we get our hands on it, which is happening in less than a week. I've been wanting to do this video for a while, but I held off because I was like, what if we get more info as Heihachi is getting closer to being released? And I was right. We just had his gameplay trailer and Tekken Talk on the same day and got a ton of new info on what this story could potentially look like. So with all this information that we have so far, it's time for me to take a crack at it. Now, I'm sure you all know there's some spoilers going around on the internet. It's like this is a stinking Marvel movie or something, but this happened when the game first came out. And luckily, I haven't seen too many. I think I've only seen like 1 or 2. They're not anything too big, but I guess that depends on your definition of too big. I'm not sure yet if I'll talk about the spoilers. If I'm going to, I'll warn you about it so that you don't have to worry about being spoiled yourself. So here we go. What's really important first, I think, is to look at Eddie's bio for this game, because it says a lot. It basically recaps like his entire journey up until this point. You should give it a read for yourself at some point, but the important part is here. Eddie joined the Tekken Force back in Tekken 6 when Jin was in control of the Mishima Zaibatsu. Now, as much as he didn't want to, because you got Jin starting World War III over here, he did what he had to because he wanted to save his master's life. Long story short, his master took a fat L and stinking died. He then heads for G-Corp's tower and tries to go kill Kazuya. Dude really thought he was the main character. I don't know. Either way, he got his butt kicked, almost died, but was saved by Yoshimitsu. Now, this part right here, Eddie narrowly escapes with his life, and a short time later, Yoshimitsu helps him reunite with an unexpected figure from his past. Someone he hasn't seen in 10 years. What's the time gap between Tekken 6 and 8? It ain't 10 years. So who the heck is this? This person too wants to see the world freed from Kazuya's tyrannical reign. It's gotta be Lydia, right? I guess they have a history together? Because they're not talking about Jin right now. And we have a few scenes here of Eddie with Lydia, because we eventually know that they meet up to confront Heihachi. I'm sorry, it just came into my mind that Lydia and Yoshimitsu and Eddie confronting Heihachi and being like, we're gonna stop you. Bro, he could spit and they would die. Like, what are they gonna do? How on earth are they gonna survive through this story DLC? I legitimately need to know, because there's no way that they are walking away from a fight against Heihachi. I don't know. It'll be interesting. So now we head to Lydia's bio, and if my theory about the figure that Eddie hasn't seen in 10 years is correct, then it's Lydia. And that would mean that this next paragraph checks out. Eddie and Lydia come together to form a new ragtag unit of fighters made up of Tekken Force soldiers who could be convinced to change their ways. At the same time, however, a certain entity has been accelerating the spread of chaos and destruction. Having won the war against the Mishima Zaibatsu, G-Corp has kicked its armed invasion to other countries into high gear. And this is probably where in the DLC we're going to be fighting on Midnight Siege, where Eddie's going to fight Nina. It's going to be a whole thing. Now, in the Tekken Talk, they showed us a preview of what the menu screen looks like when you want to access the story DLC, and we can see that in the first chapter, it's Eddie and Yoshimitsu meeting up with Lars. And this is happening before any of Tekken 8's story. Now, before any of that, when we got our first clips of the story DLC, we see that Eddie and Jin reunite. So I'm willing to bet that Jin is already at the Rebel Hangar, because the starting mission of Tekken 8's base story is Lars, Lee, and Jin carrying out a mission to possibly take down Kazuya. So Eddie meeting up with them is probably during the time while they're prepping for that mission. So my question is, when does Lydia join them? Because we have an image here of where they're all inside her private jet. So I'm guessing at some point they're going to split off, kind of divide and conquer. I'm curious to know if Yoshimitsu will have his own chapter. But then we also have this image here of Lydia just casually talking with Reina at Seaside Resort. Like, what? Then we can see them when they get to Genmanji Temple. And you got Heihachi, who is way too happy right now. It looks really unnatural. Also, because his hair is down, it just does not look right. And then this stinking guy. Who is this dude? I don't know, man, but holy crud, he is huge. Stinking Gigas over here. So yeah, we only have like bits and pieces of clips and then a few images. So my general overall prediction, Eddie, Lydia, Yoshimitsu meet up with Lars and Jin, figure out a plan. They have their own separate mission, while Jin and the others do the main story. And their mission involves investigating these monks who they think are at the source of this weird power and whatever the heck is going on with the moon. Something else you should think about, guys, is the fact that Reina's talking to Lydia. The question is this happening before or after Reina joined everybody else? Because remember, she met Jin first in chapter 3, then asked to join the team. So that could determine what they're talking about, how much Reina knows. I honestly just think she's playing both sides right now. Something to back up my theory I'm about to talk about is Heihachi and Reina's special intro. If you haven't seen it and you don't want to see it yet, you could consider it a spoiler. Go ahead and skip to the timestamp on the screen. You've been warned. Heihachi talks about how Reina needs to unlock her devil gene so that his plan can take place. The thing is though, like in the trailer, you can see that they talk about how Heihachi's mind is lost. I think he's lost his memories. That's why you see him so happy. He doesn't have the Mishima electricity coursing through his veins right now, hence why his hair is down. So how would he initiate a plan with Reina unless they already had it set up before his final fight with Kazuya on the volcano? Because it's been only, what, 6 months between Tekken 7 and 8? So it's all over the place, man. Alright, so here we go. My in-depth, detailed, final theory of how I think the story DLC is gonna go. I was so on point with the main story, I'm scared I'm gonna be so off kilter with this one. Just because it feels like I don't have enough material to go off of, but I'm gonna take a shot at it. The thing is, it has multiple ways that it could start off. It could either start with Heihachi dying, you know, dying, or it could start by introducing us to Lydia, or it could just start with Eddie and Yoshimitsu going to talk to Lars and Jin. So we'll go with that one. I think that's the safest option for now. So they made up with the boys, formulated a plan to take down Kazuya, and then they put it into action. Now the thing here is, in the scenes that we've gotten so far of Eddie in Midnight Siege, I have not seen Yoshimitsu, so I wonder if he went with Lydia to Seaside Resort, or he went on his own mission. I don't know, bro. So this is when they head to Midnight Siege. Eddie fights Nina. There's a whole alteration there. While that's happening, I think is when Lydia's going to be at Seaside Resort talking with Reina. Now, at some point, Lydia gets attacked by the monks while she's at the resort. So either this is when she discovers there's some weird voodoo stuff going on, or it's because she's on their trail and they don't like that. But the fact that Reina was here with her, in this image though, Lydia doesn't look threatened at all. So maybe Reina led her into a trap. Now, if Lydia escapes that, maybe she'll report back to everybody else, be like, hey, here's what's going on. Then Eddie's got to come back from the Midnight Siege attack and be like, hey, here's what's going on. Meanwhile, while all that's happening, I think we're going to get backstory as to how Heihachi survived, which we know how he survived. I saw it, and I don't know how to feel about it. If you know, you know. If you don't, then I'll be interested to hear your thoughts once you play through the story. But not only that, also how he's going to regain his memory, or get back to, like, full power, you know? I think we'll be switching between what's currently going on with Lydia, Eddie, and Yoshimitsu, and Heihachi and Reina. So at some point, I guess they get a tip. Maybe she recognizes the mark on the gi of the guys that attacked her, and I think this is when we see all three of them in her private jet, and they head to the temple. Now, it seems like they get there safe, and they're having a full-on conversation with the guys there. Look at them, they're just chilling. The thing is, how does she not recognize that this is Heihachi, unless the dude is trying to convince her, oh no, he's a changed man, he doesn't want to take over anything. Like, he threatened to take over Poland. He sent her a letter and said, hey, surrender, forfeit, or else you're cooked. And she said, no, you, get out of here. Also, she's still in her business attire, so this meetup right here could potentially happen before she gets attacked. She comes here, they talk to her, and they're like, yeah, nothing crazy's going on here, but she still suspects stuff. She heads back, and then Reina's sent to ambush Lydia with the other monks and take her out, which is when we get the scenes of all three of them chilling in the private jet, going to the temple, and there's gonna be a big fight. Something's going to happen there. I don't know if it has to do with this dark voodoo magic or whatever, but Heihachi's gonna get his full power back, and it's just gonna be a nightmare. What interests me the most is this shot right here of all the monks just being decimated. I do not think that that's from Eddie, Lydia, and Yoshimitsu. I think Heihachi gained his memory and power back and just wiped them all out. He was like, I do not need you guys. You are all beneath me. That would be terrifying and awesome at the same time. Then there's gonna be some type of final conflict. I just do not see how they're gonna defeat Heihachi, dude. Like, it's Heihachi. But if Jin and Kazuya aren't gonna play a part in this DLC story, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. There's some other small details that I'm sure I could get into that could maybe help me narrow down how exactly this story is gonna be structured. But honestly, I just want to enjoy it. It's gonna be so good. I'm ready. But please, in the comments down below, hit me with your best theories. What do you got? There's always potential that this DLC story could end on a cliffhanger and we get a new one after each season. That'd be pretty sick for one final showdown after they're done with all the DLC. I don't know. I know this isn't Avengers Endgame or whatever, but that'd be pretty cool. So yes, please let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you want to talk to me personally, feel free to join the Discord. The link is down in the description below. But that's all I got for you guys today. You'll see me in the next one. Until then, God bless, and don't forget to stay mad.